Being a single woman in the city has unique challenges, and the thought of facing an emergency alone can feel overwhelming. But you don't need months to build a solid support network. You can do it in 30 days. How? Listen to find out. Hi, I'm the Urban Lady Prepper. I help single moms and solo women with practical emergency preparedness. But of course, all are welcome to become better prepared for whatever happens next. The idea of a real citywide crisis is terrifying. The power grid fails, grocery store shelves are bare, and the constant city buzz is suddenly gone, replaced by a silence that's way more frightening than a noise ever was. And when you're single, when you're the only one you can truly count on, that fear gets cranked up to 11. It can feel completely overwhelming. You're thinking about having no one to literally watch your back, about facing the chaos alone while it feels like everyone else has a partner, a family, a team. That's a heavy weight to carry, knowing your survival rests entirely on your shoulders. But what if I told you that in just 30 days, you could build a smart network of allies that ensures that you're never really alone when it counts? This isn't about waiting for a hero or federal agency to swoop in and save you. It's about becoming the connected, resilient, and prepared woman who's ready to face anything, not as a lone wolf, but as the calm center of a powerful support system. This is your plan. Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly how to build it week by week. As I become more involved in my channel's community, 2 commenters brought up the need for a quick group startup guide. The reason is that there aren't many available, so it may be unclear where to begin. Additionally, how does one get to know their neighbors when everyone's working all the time? Hopefully, this will help those of us who want to get going, especially now that winter, and God knows what else, is on its way. Why do we need to be intentional as women about creating these connections? Well, let's first acknowledge something important. Your needs are different from those of a married couple or a family with multiple adults. You might be the sole decision maker for your household. You may work crazy hours or multiple jobs. You don't have a built-in backup person, which means your external network becomes even more critical. Urban living adds another layer of complexity. You might not know your neighbors well. Family could be scattered across different parts of town or different states, and the fast-paced city life doesn't always encourage community building. So, let's get into it. Week 1, the foundation, your inner circle. All right, week 1, day 1. Who would you call right now if you needed help during an emergency? We're not starting with strangers. We're starting with the people you already have. Your inner circle, your best friends, your most trusted family member. These are the bedrock of your survival network. We're going to take all that love and trust and forge it into something stronger than steel. Affection is great, but it isn't a plan. So let's make one. Your first step is to create a tiered communications list. This isn't just your normal contact list. Think of it as a strategic cheat sheet for a crisis. Your tier 1 is for your ride or die crew. These are the first people you call. You should add their number, their partner's number, and maybe even a work number stored and preferably memorized. I know, no one memorizes numbers anymore, but have them in your phone and most importantly, written down where you can get to it. I don't know about you, but when I'm in a panic, I might forget my own name, so not being able to recall my own mama's number in a crisis, that's possible. Tier 2 is for your reliable friends and family who might live farther away but can offer remote support. Think of them as your evac point or bug-out spot, a safe place to land if you have to get out of Dodge, or someone who can make calls for you if your service is getting spotty. Days 2 and 3 are for having the talk. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be some scary doom and gloom conversation. Frame it as being practical. Say something like, "Hey, with all the wild weather lately, I was thinking it'd be smart for us to have a simple what-if plan." Talk about a rally point, a primary and a backup spot to meet if you get separated and can't communicate. Exchange important info like copies of emergency documents and spare keys. This one conversation turns all those unspoken "I hope you be okay" feelings into a real actionable strategy. For the end of this week, you need a visibility plan. This is a simple pact with at least one person from your tier 1 group, and you check on each other on a regular basis, especially regarding any severe regular events or possible crises. It could be as easy as a text every morning and night during the situation, or at least a weekly check-in. This simple system turns worry into action, ensuring you're never invisible, which is crucial, especially if you're a childless, introvert lady like me who's not always great at keeping in touch. This week is all about turning affection into a functional, life-saving alliance. Lastly, end the week by identifying your specific vulnerabilities and needs. Are you on the 15th floor of an apartment building? Do you have pets? Medical needs? Kids who depend on you? Understanding what you'll need help with not only makes it easier to identify the right people to connect with for the second week, but may also help you identify situations you may need to research or get more information on now, especially if you're new to the area. Week 2, the neighborhood network, your local lifeline. Okay, your foundation is set. Now it's time to zoom in on your immediate area and the people you see every day, such as parents from your kid's school or regulars at your coffee shop. Don't overthink it, just start noticing who's around you consistently. In a crisis, the people who can help you the fastest are the ones who can hear you yell. Your neighbors are your frontline defense, but you can't exactly knock on their door for the first time during a blackout to ask for a favor. The goal of week 2 is to turn anonymous neighbors into friendly faces and potential lifelines. It's not about being phony. It's about establishing relationships, no matter how low-key or limited, with the people who are physically closest to you, with whom you can have a mutual and immediate help and support situation. Start by just being more observant. Get a feel for the rhythm of your street or your apartment building. Who leaves for work at the crack of dawn? Who has that giant dog that barks at every passing leaf? Who's always tinkering with their car on Saturday? This isn't about being nosy. It's another example of situational awareness. That guy who's always under his car, he's got tools and probably knows how to use them. The woman with the prize-winning tomatoes, she has a sustainable food source. Your mission this week? Initiate 3 low-stakes conversations. This is where introverts like me might feel uncomfortable, but remember, you're not asking people to be your best friend. You're simply opening the door to practical mutual support. You don't even have to bring up disaster prep at all. Start with your immediate neighbors. Ask to borrow a strange-sized Allen key. Compliment that dog. Offer them some extra cookies you baked. The point is to go from being strangers who share a wall or a yard to being actual neighbors. People are so much more likely to help someone they know and like. Many people do think about preparedness, but never take the first step. So if you would prefer to get right into it, a simple, "Hi, I'm trying to be more prepared for emergencies. Do you have any experience with that, or do you know if the town or school has a plan?" This can lead to surprisingly productive conversations. For apartment dwellers, consider leaving a friendly note under your neighbor's doors with your apartment number, availability, and a brief message about wanting to connect for emergency preparedness. Don't have any expectations, and don't be disappointed if people don't respond or act as though they never got it. Taking the time to make these steps will bring out the people who are truly interested and ready to act, and therefore may be the most reliable and consistent. The more time and opportunities you have to vet your disaster network, the better. By the end of this week, try to identify at least one neighbor who seems reliable and level-headed. You could even suggest creating a simple contact sheet for just-in-case situations like a power outage, a building water shutoff notice, or a broken elevator. That includes full names, addresses, and contact numbers. This week is all about transforming your block from a collection of addresses into a real community, one hello at a time. And remember to trust your gut. Not every neighbor is going to be an ally, and you might not want them to be, and that's okay. We're aiming for a few solid connections, not a fan club. Now, if so far you're seeing how this plan is flowing and you'd like to read or listen to more, visit my article, Solo and Safe, a simple 30-day plan to build your disaster network, on my official website, urbanladyprepper.com. And please hit those like, follow, and subscribe buttons, which helps me continue to provide content like this. Thank you. So, to continue, week 3, the community and colleagues, expanding your reach. You've got your inner circle locked down and you've made headway with your neighbors. Now, let's expand your web. Think about it. You spend a huge chunk of your life at work or doing your hobbies. These places are gold mines for allies, full of people whose skills you probably already know a little something about. At work, just start paying attention to the details. Who's the person who stays freakishly calm when a deadline explodes? Who's mentioned they're a volunteer EMT or has a first aid certification? Who lives close enough that you could realistically travel together if an evacuation order makes you leave town or the train shut down? You don't have to start interrogating your coworkers over coffee. Just listen. You might overhear that someone's brother is a cop or that another person is a serious camper with all the gear. That's all valuable intel. The goal is to pinpoint a few colleagues you could probably count on in a pinch. Now, look beyond your 9 to 5. Are you in a book club, a hiking group, a volunteer organization, or spin class? These groups are amazing because you're already linked by a shared interest, which builds an instant foundation of trust. Think of them as pre-vetted pools of potential allies. That friend from your hiking group could probably fit and know the local trails. Someone from that volunteer team has already proven they're willing to show up and help others. Your task for this week is to deepen just one of those connections. Ask someone to grab some coffee. Talk about something other than your shared hobby. Building that personal rapport is everything. This week is about realizing your support system isn't some project you have to build from scratch. You're already standing right in the middle of it. You just need to switch it on. Once you have, hopefully, 3 to 5 people on board, decide how your network will communicate during different types of emergencies. Will you text, call, use a specific app? What if cell towers are down? Having multiple communication methods planned makes your network much more reliable. Consider setting up a group chat for non-emergency communication and network maintenance. This keeps everyone connected and makes it easier to coordinate when something actually happens. Week 4, Strategic Alliances and Skill Swap. This is the final week, and it's all about putting the finishing touches on your network. It's time to get strategic and remember that the best communities are built on what you can give, not just what you can get. So take a look in the mirror. What are your skills? Maybe you're not a Navy SEAL, but are you a rock star organizer? Can you cook a meal for 10 people out of basically nothing? Are you a teacher who's amazing with kids, a skill that would be considered a godsend for stressed out parents? Do you know first aid? Know what you bring to the table. If you feel you aren't bringing enough, use the intel you've gained over the last couple of weeks to see if there's a skill you can gain that will fill a needed gap. Next, look for gaps in your network. You've got your ride or dies for support, your neighbors for immediate help, and your community for a wider reach. But do you know a mechanic, a nurse, or a doctor, someone with a pickup truck? This is where you can be a little more deliberate. You don't need to become best friends with your mechanic, but building a friendly, loyal relationship means you're not just another name on a work order when things get crazy. Be a regular. Be the good customer with the friendly face. These everyday relationships can become surprisingly vital when people have to choose between helping the lady who's always calm and polite and that Karen who's always yelling at them the moment they walk in. Finally, you have to practice. A plan on paper is just a piece of paper. Do a dry run. Again, you want to be able to count on the folks in your group, so the longer you have to do so, the better. Test your network with small, low-stakes scenarios. Sending a, "Hey, just testing our what-if text chain." Message to your Tier 1 people. Drive the route to your meetup spot. Make sure your emergency kit is where you told your friend it would be. You can even host a preparedness party. Invite a few friends or neighbors over to go through your emergency kits together. Make it social, make it productive, and make it fun. This final week solidifies your role not as someone waiting to be saved, but as the capable central hub of your own safety network. You've gone from feeling alone to being connected. You've turned that knot of anxiety in your stomach into a concrete, actionable plan that's really not taking that much out of your current lifestyle and schedule. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that building a support network requires being smart about personal safety. So here's some guidelines. Vet new connections. This is crucial, especially if you have kids. Start with people you've seen consistently in your daily life. Meet in public places initially. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Consider background checks for people who have access to your home. And never share financial information. However, consider swapping your Cash App or Venmo info in case someone in the group needs to make a supply run or grab items on the fly while you're handling a crisis. Remember that it's better to have only 3 people that you can trust than 10 you're unsure of, or if your kids feel uncomfortable around them. As far as what information is shared, you don't need to share everything immediately. Start with basic contact information and gradually provide more details as trust builds. Never feel pressure to give someone access to your home or personal information before you're comfortable. And also, be clear about what kind of help you're offering and what you need in return. This isn't about becoming best friends or others knowing everything about your lifestyle and stash. It's about practical mutual support during emergencies. So, in conclusion, perhaps the thought of a crisis filled you with a sense of dread and isolation. But look at you now. You have a plan. You have a multi-layered network of support. You have an inner circle ready to roll, neighbors who know your name, and colleagues who see you as part of a team. You are not a damsel in distress. You're the architect of your own safety. And this plan isn't about living in fear. It's about owning your power. The power that comes from knowing you've done the work, you've built the connections, and you're ready. You've made yourself a hard target, not through force, but through fierce, intelligent preparation. You are never truly alone when you're this connected. You've already taken the first step by listening to this. Now, it's time to act. Drop a comment below and tell me the one thing you're going to do this week to start building your network. Are you going to have the talk with your best friend? Bake those cookies for your neighbor. Let's keep each other accountable. And if you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, follow, and share it with another woman who needs this message, because the strongest communities are the ones we build together. Thanks for listening. Until next time, this is the Urban Lady Prepper signing off.
I'm sure I've given you some things to think about as you go through the upcoming week. Has this episode resonated with you? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to click the link in the podcast description to get your free Essential Prepper checklist. While there, get one of my cool designs on a shirt, hat, mug, and more at my Redbubble store. Or you can always buy me a coffee or get a Jace case for your emergency medical needs. It helps support what I do, and I really appreciate it. Join me on the socials, especially on YouTube, where I'll be uploading videos for my blogs from urbanladyprepper.com. I appreciate your time with me. Stay safe, stay sharp, and be ready.